Okay, today's going to be a fun one. We are talking about the main archetypes, the main characters seeking to build the villages and the towns and cities of the future. If you are interested in building new types of communities, these are the characters on the block you're going to run into. And I've been at this for many years of my life, so I have a great and funny list laid out for us here. So let's get to know the neighborhood, my friends. So number one, the first person you're going to run into in the intentional community space is the New Age spiritual bro. These are the Burning Man folks. They're into tantra, ecstatic dance, festivals, and flow arts. And in general, their political orientation is deeply egalitarian. They like equality, inclusion. They're into psychedelics, plant medicine. And they have this kind of spirituality that's pseudo-indigenous. It's pseudo-esoteric. And it's basically an animistic worldview. It's a celebration of nature. They seek cosmic connections. A lot of them are into extraterrestrials, and they're often ungrounded because of it and bad with money. But also, the New Age spiritual bro can come off as charismatic. They're good at drawing people together, but they are very impractical with logistics. In general, for the spiral dynamics of Ken Wilber, this type of person is purple and green, meaning they occupy the animistic worldview or sensibility. And they're also very pluralistic and egalitarian. They really believe in multiculturalism, equality, consensus decision-making. If you ever sat in any intentional community circles before, it feels like every decision must be made by a committee because everyone's scared of leadership. Welcome to the New Age spiritual bros. Brent Pella does amazing memes of this caricature. And we're going to see the New Age spiritual bro evolve into higher forms throughout this episode. So the other type of guy in the neighborhood, we have the Vitalistic health influencer. These guys are hilarious. We have CBC Wellness down here to represent it. So these guys are anti-plastic. They're anti-establishment. They're into crypto and sovereignty. They have an animal-based diet. They're conspiracy theorists. They're into natural fiber clothing, right? They're kind of post-conscious community in a sense. They've all been down the spiritual paths, but they're really just wanting to eat organic food, wear natural clothes, have chemtrail protection, and be surrounded by hot influencers deep in the tropics somewhere. And they're kind of like pseudo-trad. A lot of the girls there call themselves trad wives, but they're really egalitarian. They actually don't really believe in structure or hierarchy, but they don't let themselves know that. So what I would say in terms of Ken Wilber's map is their reactionary blue meme. And I just encourage everyone to go get a sense for Ken Wilber's map. I've made many podcasts on this already, so I'm just going to use it as if you know. So reactionary side blue meme, basically what that means is they enjoy the traditional ideas of gender roles, of truth, of morality, of good, of health, right? But they are kind of reactionary against establishment and against hierarchies. So they occupy some blue meme, but the reactionary side of it because they don't like Christianity, divine right of kings, hierarchy of leadership. In fact, they're very against those things. So this is like the Vitalistic health influencer. Great person on the block. Love these guys. Let's move forward to the farmer. This is one of my favorite memes, and this is one of the more integrated memes and integrated potential. I think a lot of the Vitalistic health influencers will slowly become the farmer meme. The farmer meme is someone prudent. They're earth and family oriented. They're kind of like salt of the earth values. They see themselves as stewards of nature, not in the new agey sense, but literally they cultivate the land. They seek to create harmony between all of life. They're very long term in their thinking. They're planting and cultivating the land in a way that will benefit their children's children's children. They're traditional and church-going. My best friend is a farmer archetype. He runs a vineyard. He goes to church. He has a family. His wife is truly trad. And essentially, she raises the chicken, makes sourdough, and plays with kids, and she loves doing it. And they're both thoughtful about many things in the universe. They're not deeply intellectual. They're not like spiritual teachers, but they're deeply spiritual by nature. They're a very harmonious breed. I would say the farmer's main orientation or worldview in life is how to create harmony, which is beautiful. It's actually very yellow in its thinking. It's very integral in its thinking. Is how does it create harmony. So the farmer, if we had to break it down in terms of memes, and a meme for everyone listening to this, a meme in Ken Wilber's diagram is a sensibility. It's a way of feeling and relating to the world, and you're going to get a crash course in memes throughout this video. But essentially a farmer is blue meme, so traditional and hierarchical. They have beige meme, which is survival instinct and like survival, but they also have great yellow potential. So let's go to the BAP, the vitalistic health bro, and this is aristocratic variety. So we had the first vitalistic health influencer. Now we're going to the vitalistic health bro. There is some overlap here, and it's hilarious, these guys. So these are the ones who read BAP. They smoke cigarettes naked in the sun, and they are metabolism maxing. They're greatness maxing. They like Ray Peat diets. They're animal based in their food. They believe in metabolism supremacy, so like more energy, more vitality, more will equals better person. They enjoy fascist art, fascist in quotes, just classical art of heroes. They like Greek sculpture. They always post physique. They post like working out. These guys are big on Twitter. It's these guys and like the tech right. They're like these like weird allies on Twitter. The Vitalist Health Bro is completely natural fibers, like health maxing, but they smoke cigarettes. It's very strange. And they're very intelligent. They're all kind of pseudo philosophers. They despise NPCs. They despise plebs, right? And they're very egotistic in their outlook. I really like an integrated vitalistic health bro, but a unintegrated vitalistic health bro is just pure red meme. An integrated one is gonna have a lot more yellow meme in them, but they're pure red meme. Red meme's awesome because the red meme in general, it creates geniuses and monsters. So if we look at like ancient Greece was full of vitalistic health bros, right? They were excellence maxing. They were like, they were shooting for glory on the battlefield in art and philosophy. They were always competing with each other. Ancient Greece was this vitalistic competition against all of nature and against each other, and it did produce the greatest men to ever live. The red meme is also seen in, of course, Florence, Italy, a time of great vitality, right? The Renaissance. During the Renaissance, monsters and geniuses abounded everywhere. All these city-states were at war with each other. All these great men were competing for eternal fame in the artistic world. This is pure red meme. The red meme is going to have to return to the societies of the future in an integrated version, but I want people to be fully red meme, to be fully aristocratic in their thinking, and yet be integrated into a yellow meme. Of course, the yellow meme is someone who approaches the yellow meme in Ken Wilber's chart is someone who has been through many of the different stages of development. They've enjoyed the animistic worldview. They've enjoyed the conformist blue meme, the traditional hierarchy. They've enjoyed the orange meme. And they've kind of like, I'm creating space for all of these to exist in their power, in their flourishing, and yet I'm going to facilitate harmony between them. That's the yellow meme. The yellow meme is concerned with a cultural renaissance, not egotism. So, Vitalist health bro there. Those are some funny ones. Okay, now we have the techno-utopian builder. Think guys obsessed with the network state. They read Balaji, they read Naval, Zuzalu. They're deep on Twitter. They're slightly autistic. They're probably starting some kind of SaaS company, some kind of tech company. They believe in a digital first nation. So they believe that we can all just like meet online, form these nations online, and manifest that into an archipelago of lands. And they believe that the key to a utopia is decentralized autonomous organizations. They believe in blockchain-based governance, blockchain-based voting, pure transparency and accountability. They're really concerned with decentralization and sovereignty. The techno-utopian builder is freaking awesome. They're very orange meme oriented, very scientific. We're going to build the future. We're going to build a utopia. But their blind spot, obviously, is like they don't understand that you can't legislate utopia with technology. You build utopia through connecting human hearts around a vision or a dream. So like where the techno-utopian builders go wrong is they overly rely on superficial connections online, superficial connections in real life. They don't know how to vibe out with the vibe kings, let's say. And therefore, their orange meme can get blocked a little bit, but they really embody the orange. The whole point of the map and why I've been mapping the archetypes so much is that you're going to get like this dichotomy, right? And that's between the intellectual right, and this is like the will to power, this is tech, this is autism, this is masculinity, this is all the crypto bros, the network state guys. There needs to be a deep alliance between them and the vibes-based, heart-based community, which is really hard to forge because you're trying to forge alliances. You're trying to forge alliances between the purple and green meme. So egalitarian, animistic people with the tech people. Very hard to do. So we'll talk more about that moving forward. So then the sixth archetype I have documented here is the warrior. Love these guys. I get a lot of them through my main channel, Wisdom Warriors. The warrior is like, these guys are former military. They're former Marines, Army, Special Forces. They're deeply thematic in their thinking. Thumos from ancient Greece, from Plato. Thumos is the heart, the spirited part of man, right? We have the reason in the head. We have the thumos in the heart. We have the desires in the belly. The men who are deeply oriented towards thumos, towards spiritedness, tend to become warriors. And that means they are honor-driven, right? They think and act from the heart rather than pure reason. These are the guys who get really upset with things like immigration or things like lying or things like stealing, things that bother the deeply thematic part of them. And these guys are so disillusioned with the modern West. This is why a lot of the warriors, like mid-ranking army officials, they lean very quite far to the right, and they really despise our politicians right now, is because they feel betrayed by big oil, by big banking, by big pharma. They feel that our leadership is weak and hollow and is based on consumerism, and they're just sending our young guys to war for, like bankers' wars essentially in the Middle East. They hold a very romantic vision of brotherhood, of duty, of sacrifice for something greater. Like you think of Jocko Willink right now. He's a perfect warrior archetype. And these guys, they deeply want community. In fact, they want community almost more than anyone because they had it once, right? They had it in the Navy SEALs. They know what brotherhood is like. And then they come back to civilian life and they're like, everyone is atomized. Everyone is alone. Like, where is the real community builders leading towards a glorious vision that I can serve? Where's the honor in the tribe? Where is the brotherhood? I talk to so many warriors and a lot of them are deeply lost. They run like CrossFit gyms in Phoenix, or they're running some kind of like nature-based survival, or they're working for a private military contractor of some kind. But I talk to these guys and they're like, dude, I'm ready to build. Like, put me in, coach. Where can we go? Right? So you got to get some warriors on your team. These are really great guys. A lot of them are Christians or they're pagans. Because they're thematic in their heart, they lean towards a worship of some kind. And they need something to base virtue on. So whether it's Odinism, romantic virtue, or Catholicism, they find some kind of religion. They yearn to defend beauty, to defend women, families, sacred lands, and noble culture from corruption and decay. That's why our culture is so painful for them. And the interesting thing about the warrior archetype in general is, what was I going to say here? They yearn to defend beauty, but they don't have anything to defend right now. Tough world for them. Practical skills is like weapons, survival, discipline, protection, training younger men. They value loyalty above all. And these guys can often clash with super egalitarian types. So these guys, if like me opening my video about the New Age spiritual bro, these guys don't like the New Age spiritual bro that much. They also don't really like a lot of like the festival organizers, the vibe kings. The issue is for the warriors is, in terms of the archetypal map, which I've been breaking down throughout my videos here, is the warrior is down here, which is like the daemon, the masculine, into the earth. So they're kind of opposed to everything over here. So that's kind of where the kings, the farmers, and the shamans need to create alliances. So if you are a warrior, definitely come join our app. Come find your best friends. Oh, by the way, guys, we just built the ReTribalize app, which is designed to connect you to the most highly aligned people in the entire world who want to build a village with you. So come find your best friends. I'm on there. You can match with me. You can match with the ReTribalize project. And guys, it's time to facilitate the decentralized revolution. And this is why I'm making these videos, is you need to know the neighborhood of what kind of archetypes you should bring into your tribe. And while I do make fun of quite a few of these archetypes because they're such memes, we need a lot of them. And we need a lot of them to come into their more integrated form, into the yellow meme, which is the capacity to have space for all the other memes, right? So let's go after the warrior, number 7 of 18 here. We got quite a few to get through. We had the festival organizer. So these are the guys that run ecstatic dance. They're DJs, they run retreats, they run festivals. I freaking love these guys because they're the backbone of creating the big parties, right? Of facilitating community gathering spaces. They'll run the camp out in the woods and bring all the gear out there for everyone to come, right? They're also usually zest kings, or they're master of logistics. They're either really great at logistics or they're really great at vibes. Shout out to Cody and Cody who run Unison Festival. They believe the village is one big party, or the village should be one big party. They love the party, right? A lot of these guys are more interested in the polyamory or communal sexuality, especially in the beginning. A more mature and evolved festival organizer. Usually these guys need to get married so they don't start a cult of any kind. But they do, I've seen a lot evolve past this. They often get burned out. They have poor long-term planning. And they often live on yerba mate, vapes, and love affairs. And they display the green meme heavy. So festival organizers, their biggest trap is they get trapped deep in the green meme, which is this radical inclusion, egalitarianism. They know nothing of cultivating a more, let's say, aristocratic or high-powered team, but just including everyone. But the thing about the festival organizers, like once you have people gathered together, they're great because they are going to include everyone there. The thing is you just don't want them running the filtration system to find the best people for your tribe. You want them throwing the parties for the tribe. So super green meme. Oh, and by the way, the warrior, in terms of the memes of the warrior, they're red and blue generally. They're deeply blue, and that's the warrior discipline, traditional anarchy. They like hierarchy. They like rising through structures, right? And they also have red, which is like the will to power, the red meme there. And also an integrated warrior, of course. Every integrated version of these archetypes is going to display yellow characteristics. Let's go to the entrepreneurial wolf. Love these guys too. You need a few of these. In fact, most of the tribes are going to start around this type of person. Hopefully you find an integrated one. So these guys are entrepreneurs with strong visions. They either want to they usually want to gather other killers to start a founder's village. Okay, entrepreneurial wolf is kind of the lower version of the entrepreneurs I'm speaking of, but the wolf version, they read Peter Thiel, they like BAP, they like Caesar biographies. They talk about leverage, network effects, and sovereignty. And they're usually like solo entrepreneurs at first. The entrepreneurial wolf, the actual better name for this would just be a merchant, right? The merchant on our diagram. So merchants are really good at channeling will and energy into the earth, into building things, into building companies, into marketing and ads. I know someone like this. He can just like rip an ad at any point in the day, just like right into his phone at a dinner table, and he's just like a pure entrepreneurial wolf. And he's kind of like the warrior energy, but instead of like being directed towards serving beauty, it's serving money. Now, the entrepreneurial wolf, a lot of people have a deep distaste for these guys, but what we need to do is help these guys reach higher states of consciousness to evolve. Because you need someone who can build the freaking economic engine. The reason that so many intentional communities fail, or they never get funding, or they never become anything glorious or beautiful, is because the founding team tries to get land first instead of build a glorious business first. If you can build a glorious business and then use that as the means of hiring top-tier talent and bringing in families and funding the dream, you're going to actually have money behind you, right? To get the best influencers, to get the best community leaders, to get the best builders of all kinds, right? You need people who can build an economic engine. We can't just escape from the world. We need to build on top of the world, right? So the entrepreneurial wolf is super orange and red meme, just like the warrior. But where the warrior is blue, the entrepreneurial wolf is orange. So let's go to the occultist. The occultist is also one of the archetypes on our main map here. So if we look at our main map of archetypes right here, the occultist is in the top right quadrant, right? So it means they have a lot of daemon, a lot of intellectualism, a lot of will, and it's kind of oriented upwards. Where the merchant is a lot of willpower oriented towards earth, the occultist is a lot of willpower oriented towards God. So they're kind of like the priests of the West. Occultists are great. Their counterpart is usually the scribe. They get along pretty well, the scribes and occultists. So the occultist, they read Manly P. Hall. They like Steiner. They like reading Evola. They're maybe even dabbled in Mexican shamanism. They're into contemporary religions. They're obsessed with rituals, initiations, and secret societies. They lean towards reviving and restoring the ancient rites. They're really interested in true spirituality. They're interested in traditionalism with a capital T. They live for the spiritual kingdom. Their main quest, where the farmer seeks harmony amongst the physical kingdom, the occultist seeks communion with God, right? He wants to understand the mysteries of nature. And the occultist, they see community as a spiritual order more than a town. They want to build the next Knights Templar. Love these guys. I need one of them with me. So if you are an occultist, come join the app, by the way. And try to match with me, because I need someone to be the founder of the next Knights Templar. We've all been talking about the Promethean Holy Order. Not starting a cult. I promise we're not starting a cult. We're starting a town, much different. So the problem with the cultists is, speaking of cults, they potentially drift towards cult-like dynamics. I know back in my deep spiritual journey in my life, I was much more of like an occultist. I loved this archetype. And this led me to becoming deeply distrustful of conscious communities in general, as the occultist feels a sense of superiority. And this is the thing about the occultists, is they tend to have pride in like their spirituality. I know I did. So I looked down a lot of the conscious community that just seems like it was playing with animism. The integrated occultist is going to have natural priest vibes, where he doesn't have to speak anymore. He doesn't have to tell people. He just shows people the way. And so an occultist is generally going to have deep blue memes. We almost need a different meme for him. He transcended the purpose